Hello, thank you for having me. I just saw the post. Excited to be here.
Hi, this is Wanda from Black Women Travel. If you don't know, you better find out. We have our Black Women Digital Nomad Entrepreneurs group on Facebook. We have a weekly podcast, the Black Women Travel podcast. We have, girl, what else? We got a conference coming up in October. It's October 1st and 2nd. It'll be a little in person component. I ain't really told a whole lot of folks, but it'll also be an online component as well if you can't make it to meet with us. Don't even worry about it. We got you. We also have a mastermind, which you should join. The spring cohort just ended. The summer cohort is about to start in like a couple of weeks. It is where you have a delicious, lovely group of Black women who are getting their travel and business lives together. You don't already have to have your business started. It's like support, and you get the benefit of the group dynamic. And we have some co-working. So you have the planning part, but you also get a chance to put all of that into action. So we alternate weeks between coaching and co-working. I would love to have you there. So you should check that out. Go to Black Women Travel. That's TRAVL.com and hook it up. But today, right now, we have Miss Lequita Brooks, and she is so dynamic. She's gonna burst through the screens. So her session is entitled "Use the Expertise That You Got to Make the Money You Want." So Miss Lakita, I will let you do all of your things. Thank you so much for presenting for us today.
You're welcome. Thank you, Wanda. And thank you to everyone that's here. So, I want you to put in the chat whatever it is that you desire to gain from coming here. Because I appreciate you for saying, you know what, I'm going to take some time because time is, I think, more valuable sometimes than money. Because we can't get time back. We can make more money, we can increase our prices, but our time is probably one of the most valuable things that we have. And sometimes we desire more money just to have more time to outsource. So put it in the chat for me. What is it that you desire to gain from being here today? And I do want to just give a pub for Wanda's mastermind. I was in it. And honestly, I didn't know much about Wanda. I literally was like, I'm a person who believes in investing in myself. So I am in a business mastermind, just got back from Cabo with that group. But then I joined Wanda's group because I said, you know what? I need to be in community with other people who are already doing what I desire to do. Like, I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. I don't believe in, oh, let me figure it out myself. When I was a young entrepreneur, I think I started my entrepreneurship journey when my daughter was in my womb. Because at that point, I said to myself, like, I want, because I'm a mom that's single, she's 17 now, but I always wanted to live the life of the white woman that's married, that's pushing the stroller in the middle of the day at noon with her friends and all their babies, and they're living their best lives. So, yes, that's not my life, that's not my narrative. But even though I didn't have that type of support, I was like, you know what? I will always be the present parent. So, even back then, my two values were being a present parent and being able to provide. And those are the two things that have drove every decision. Doesn't mean I haven't messed up. Doesn't mean I haven't made some bad decisions. But those two things have pretty much been consistent in my world. So with me saying that, it was like, okay, I'm about to be an empty nester. Yes. Daughter is graduating next year. I'm about this expat lifestyle. Like, that is what I desire. And one was like, well, Lakita is kind of like digital nomadish, not necessarily expat, because you don't want to just go somewhere and live forever. And I'm like, no, I'm not about that life. But I do want to have the ability to live, work, play, and philanthropy however I want to, whenever I want to, with who I want to, and where I want to. Hence, so I joined Wanda's mastermind because, hey, she's the guru. She has the people that's already doing what I desire to do. So I would invite you to definitely consider Wanda's mastermind if you feel like, you know what, you have these goals, you have these desires, you have these dreams, and you could already be living the digital nomad lifestyle, or you might actually want to. And hence why I joined her group. So, like I said, I actually invest in business coaching, and I invest in what this next level or my next level will look like, far as my lifestyle and where I'm going to be in fall 2023. So the first thing I'm gonna tell you, use what you got to get what you want. And I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. This name came from like Players Club. I tweaked it. Cause in Players Club, they told Diamond, hey girl, you gotta use, I forgot who it was. Ron's like, girl, you gotta use what you got to get what you want. But we're not living that type of life. Like, I'm a whole therapist in real life, so I'm not advocating for that. But it made me think, like, a lot of times we think we need another degree. We need another certification. We need a doctorate. We need this. We need that. But really, it's us. And guess what? Your next client is the old version of you. So when I think about my life, like the 2008 Lequita, who was a single mom, my daughter was about 3 years old then, and I had no purpose. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was an entrepreneur with 10 hustles. I just knew, once again, present parent and provide. So I had those 10 hustles, but I didn't understand business. And I got to a point where I was like sick and tired of being sick and tired. So a girlfriend of mine was like, hey, Lequita, I want you to go to an event. Once again, that's community. And I was like, girl, I don't believe in women empowerment, because I had a bad experience in a sorority. And we were in a sorority, surprisingly. And she's like, well, girl, come to this event. I was like, I'm not paying for that mess. And then she was like, well, just come to the event. So, she was paying for it. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to go. And let me tell y'all, that was the best thing that could have happened in 2008. I went to a Black Female Development Circle event because I kept saying, okay, I make money. I'm the present parent. I provide. But something is still missing. Like, something is not right. And then when I went to that event, I realized I didn't have any purpose. So it wasn't good enough to just be a present parent or provide. Like, I needed to have purpose in my life. So from that moment on, and I was trying to live the American dream also. You know that American dream, the big bills, the big house, the big cars, the big debt. But what they don't tell you, or what I didn't realize back then, was that big bills equals you have to make a lot of money to be able to pay them. So that was something I totally didn't get. So after that, I was like, no, I'm going to always keep my bills low. So at that moment, I said, okay, I want to have purpose. So this is the first thing I'm going to challenge you all to do, is think about, what would your vacation lifestyle look like? And I'm going to give you a little context for what vacation lifestyle looks like. So 2 years ago,
Miss Lequita,
yes.
So sorry. The 2 years ago got you. Your sound is just a little crunchy, and it yeah. Is there something in your settings?
Let me see. And when you say crunchy, elaborate. My apologies.
It's like static. It's like maybe it sounds like if it were a bad cable or something like that. I know you're not cabled, but if you hover, then there's like the audio settings for the video, and it may just be. So sorry about that. She came in hot. I told y'all she would.
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Perfect. So clearly there's a message that you all are supposed to get. So my apologies for the crunchiness.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, I took a trip with a companion, and we were literally walking the beach. And this is something I literally just did in my mastermind. Perfect. Yes. Thank you, Sonia. So in my mastermind in Cabo, literally. So we were walking the beach 2 years ago, and it came back to me. So we were doing a visualization exercise. And it came back to me that 2 years ago, I was on the beach with a friend in Hilton Head. And he said, do you believe that this is what life should look like every single day? And I was like, yeah, I believe I should be able to live a vacation lifestyle every day. But I said it out of my mouth in 2020, but not until I was in Cabo these past few days doing that visualization exercise that I really and truly believe that it was even possible. So I said it. I'm a whole therapist in real life. I coach people. I went from social assistant to six-figure business owner, but I didn't really believe that I could truly live that vacation lifestyle. So when I described to you all earlier, I believe that you, just like I said, I believe that I can do it. I believe that you can live, work, play, and philanthropy however that looks for you, because it's based on what you desire. So what does that look like to you? What would complete freedom to live, work, play, and philanthropy look like to you? So that's something for you to think about. So that's the first thing. So we're starting out kind of like reverse engineering, or as they would say with the Covey family, begin with the end in mind. So we're starting with the big vision of what that would really look like for you. That's the assessment. And I'll tell you, for me, since I'm going into the empty nester world, for me, that looks like being able to live in different places for 3 months at a time, working with MSW students and having contracts with MSW degree programs. And I could do that every day. Like, I create an 8-module training for students to help them map out their social work career, because I genuinely love social work. I hate that there's so many social workers that feel burnout, overworked, underpaid, all that stuff. And I'm like, that's never been my life, ever. Like, I've had a great career. And because of that, that is what I'm passionate about. And that's what I know, like my name. So when you think about in your business, because I think someone said, well, I don't know where to start. I don't know what I should be doing. When you think about your business, I always say to my clients, what is it that you think that you can, not even think, that you can teach for 24 hours without a PowerPoint? So I'm a therapist, and yes, I could get paid to talk about anxiety and overwhelm in therapists because of my credentials, but that's not something I can confidently talk about for 24 hours. So that would not be a product or service that will be part of my vacation lifestyle or the ways I'm going to generate money to support it, because that's not what I can do for 24 hours. And it doesn't flow from me genuinely. It doesn't. So in your business, you might have things you're good at doing. And I know as women, especially Black women, we can do a lot of stuff great. But don't get stuck on the hype of, oh my goodness, I'm just great at everything. Yes, you might be, but you might not want to do every single thing. No, and you want it to come effortlessly. So like, I can talk about how to go from bankruptcy to rebuilding your credit, how to go from foreclosure to buying another house, how to go from repossession to being able to get more cars, how to go from social assistance to building a six-figure business, how to rock it being a single mom and embrace it. So those are things I can spew. You heard how I spewed those things off? That's not practice. That's my life. That's who I be. So that's how come I can talk to you so fluently about it. So when you think about you and the services you provide, think about what is it that you have went through. So like the 2008 version of Lequita, she couldn't pay my prices. So when I do my marketing, that's not who I'm talking to. If I want to talk to the 2008 Lequita, right? The 2008 Lequita, who was a single mom with a 3-year-old, who decided to file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, did it herself, to go back to school full time, to go get student loans, to get a master's degree, that Lequita couldn't afford me. So if I wanted to talk to that version of Lequita, I would probably host a retreat or an event or a conference and get sponsors to pay for it. Because 2008 Lequita can't pay $5,000, right? So think about when it comes to your particular business and your audience, and I'll also give this more in some succinct steps for you. I did write those down, but this is what's flowing through me at this particular moment. So I wanted to say these things, but I might go back and say them again because I actually do have some notes. So if I want to work with 2008 Lequita, because remember, your client is the old version of you. That's who your client is. You've already overcome something. So that Lequita, so the payer would be the organizations, the grants, stuff like that. And then I could support the 2008 Lequita. I'm not saying be poor. No, by no means. I'm not saying just go do stuff for free. No. If you know you want to serve a population who can't pay you, like 2008 Lequita couldn't pay me, I'm going to go out and get sponsorships. And that's something Wanda is really great at. And another thing about her mastermind is that she might have things she desires to talk about, but she constantly asks us, like, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you need support with? She brought speakers in. We talked about sponsorships. She gave me ideas on how to get sponsors. So the mastermind is not just, oh, hey girl, let's hang out. No, it is very intentional. It's very strategic. And she's constantly asking, what is it that you want? Like, I didn't think I was going to talk about sponsorship. No, because even like I'm in a business mastermind, but in my business mastermind, it's pretty like, this is the curriculum. This is what we discussed. And yes, you can ask questions, but it's not an ongoing thing where it's like, well, what do you need, Lequita? What can I support you with, Lequita? Let me bring in resources. No, even my business mastermind isn't even like that. So I think that's the cool thing about Wanda's mastermind. It's fluid. 2008, Lequita can't pay me. So I would get sponsorships. Now, let's say that 2000, I would say 14 to like 2018, Lequita, that version of Lequita could actually pay $5,000 for my services. That version of Lequita worked at the Department of Veterans Affairs, made between $65,000 and $72,000. That Lequita still kept her bills really low. So I think even now my bills are probably less than $2,000 because I got a fear of having high bills, okay? Because because of that life I lived beforehand. So my bills are so, even though my income kept rising, my bills have even stayed the same. And like I bought my daughter a cash car. Why? Because I didn't want to get it in debt. My car I drive is paid for by my grant through the Department of Veterans Affairs. So I don't even have a car note. But that's neither here nor there. But that version of Lequita is the one that could pay for my services. So when you think about if you want to get paid from an organization to serve someone who can't pay you, or if you actually want to just get self-pay clients, target that version of yourself that could actually pay for you. So if I, even right now, I don't actually have a $30,000 program, but if I ask someone to pay $30,000, it's because I've already paid $30,000 myself. So practice in integrity. So if you know that you have a service or product that you're creating that you've never paid for, it might be tough for you to sell that service or product if you haven't paid it yourself. So that's the benefit of investing in yourself, because when you invest in yourself, then I could quickly, and without flinching, ask someone to pay me $30,000 because I've done it myself. So that's something else to consider when it comes to your clients, your marketing. And Wanda, let me know if there's anything in the chat that I need to respond to. Because I'm just flowing, and in a second, and I see we're almost close to our halfway point. I'm gonna actually look at my notes, so it's gonna be a little different. I'm not gonna be looking directly at you all because I want to give you some exact things to work on. So the first one was, we've already talked about it. What would your vacation lifestyle look like for you? And if you can't completely visualize it, it's okay, because in 2008 I couldn't think about a vacation lifestyle. All I knew was present parent, providing financially. Those were the two things. And because of that, I selected social work jobs that could pay me over $40,000 because I knew my numbers. I knew how much my bills were, and I knew how much I needed to be able to pay my bills, take my daughter to the movies, skating, and maybe to a theme park. We wasn't traveling to Belize and the Dominican Republic back then. No, we couldn't afford that, but we still did things, and I paid for her dance. So know your number. So even if you can't see the vacation lifestyle like I see it today, but 2008 Lequita couldn't see it either because I was still in like survival mode. I don't know if you all are familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but it starts at the very bottom: food, water, shelter. That's being able to have security. Your second level is safety. So not until you actually have stable income can you even visualize all this other stuff. So at every iteration of my life, even when I worked at the VA, I couldn't visualize this either. I might have made $65,000 to $70,000, but I was still stuck at a job where, yes, I got paid decent money to help homeless veterans, but I knew I was called for so much more. But they wouldn't allow me to do it. They wouldn't allow me to be creative, and they would steal my ideas on top of that. So not until I left my job at the VA, February 2019, my daughter was dealing with life. She was in 8th grade. Y'all know what that means. So I actually quit my job at the Department of Veterans Affairs to homeschool my daughter. And I just said, I'll figure out business on my way out. And that's what I did. I literally quit. homeschooled my daughter, and when I say literally that same year, a Department of Veterans Affairs grant came out that had never been posted ever. I applied for it and was awarded a 2-year $250,000 grant with the Department of Veterans Affairs. So I have a partner because she's a nonprofit, I'm not. But if I would have never left the VA, I would have never even known about the grant. And I wouldn't have even been able to apply. So everything still worked out and I took the leap. Now, I'm not telling you to leave and you don't have money in your bank account. I did have at least 1 year of expense because once again, I knew my number. So it was like, okay, Lequita, you leaving this job because once again, being a present parent is your number one priority. And I be doggone if Azalea don't turn out successful, that's gonna be on Azalea. Because I have went above and beyond as a single mom. But quit the job. I knew I had enough money to pay my bills. And I just said, I'll figure out how to make money after I leave. And I did already have a business from I think 2012, but I never really did anything in it because I didn't just have the energy or the time after dealing with the politics of being at the government. So not until I left my job could I really envision and see the vacation lifestyle. And even at that point, I could see it, but I didn't believe it until today. So I just wanted to give you all some context. So I already gave you number one. Number two is goal setting. What do you need to do to achieve the vacation lifestyle? And this could also be, who do you need to be? So when you think about the 8 domains of wellness, some of the main ones are emotional, physical, financial, mental. What are those things you need to do in order, or who do you need to be? It could be an either or it could be both. Because like I said, I saw the vision, but didn't believe it. So I even still needed to do some inner work on myself. And even recently, I realized in one area of my life, I do really great in my career profession, boom, knock that out. But when it comes to male-female relationships, emotions, I don't do the best with those things. So I even had to remove some layers of things or ways that I was operating because I'm so used to being a single mom. I do everything myself. So because of that level of independence, it's positive. I get stuff accomplished, but then it's also negative sometimes because I'm not asking for help even when I desire it because I'm so used to doing it by myself. So who you need to be? And one of the examples are when it comes to what do you need to do, I'll talk about finances because to me, yes, we might not want to talk about money, but money is one of the biggest things because the money is what's going to allow us to do all the other stuff. So how much money do you need to actually make? So I'll tell you all, when it comes to the goal setting, so I had my vision. So I'll just tell you, my big vision is to be able to live, work, play, and anywhere in the world as of fall 2023. But for the remainder of the year, these next 6 months, I needed to set a money goal. I was like, you know what? I want to be debt free, right? I need to be debt free by the end of this year, end of 2022. So I set a financial goal of $330,000. That's the financial goal that I set in order to be debt free. So think about what your financial goal would be. And it doesn't have to be based on your debt. That's just the number I use. Because when I leave the country, I don't want to have to figure out, do I need to sell my house? How I'm going to pay my mortgage here and somewhere else? No, I want to keep my house in case my daughter wants to come back to visit, or if I want to have somewhere to keep my belongings. But anyway, I think I'm going to keep my house, but I want to be debt free. So I set my money goal at $330,000. So think about, what do you desire your money goal to be to accomplish what you want to accomplish? Now, how are you going to make that money? We've already talked about your rock star. We've talked about your amazing. So you're going to make money from coaching, consulting, contracting, and you could make money other passive ways. I'm not familiar with those things, but you could do ebooks and other small ticket stuff. I recommend selling high ticket items. And I'm not saying you have to jump out the boat selling 30,000, but I would say, I personally believe it's quicker to make more money to get your financial goals if you're selling products for over 1,000 or services for over 1,000. So what I teach my clients is how to make money from coaching, consulting, and contracting, because those are the ways that I make money in my business. So just want to put that out there. You could do other stuff for the $97, $197. But think about how long it's going to take you to make six figures selling $99 items. And then if you don't have 1 million followers, because once again, it's back to the numbers. Everything is about know, like, trust, buy. That's what it's about. So if you think about sales, roughly, I'm not a salesperson. I'm a social worker in real life, okay? But I'm in coaching programs where we talk about numbers, and I be crossing my eyes. I wish I could cross my eyes, but I can't. But a normal number is a 30% ratio. So I'll say for me, when it comes to my $330,000 number, how I broke it down was if I have 11 clients paying $30,000 for a 3-month program that includes training for their students, community, and mentorship for 3 months. So 11 clients, $30,000, that equals $330,000. But in order for me to get 11 clients, I need to have 57 leads, because I think I did my number at less than a ratio. So in order for me to convert 11 schools, I probably need to at least have 57 clients. And I know that this could get a little funky when it comes to these numbers, but think about what service can you sell for at least 1,000. I don't think, since I've been in my business coaching program, I think the lowest number I sold was 1,500, and then I increased the price of 500 for the same thing to 2,000. So it's possible for you to make money from coaching, contracting, or consulting. So based on that, which one of those way, which way would you like to generate money? Oh, selling something for over 1,000. Then the next step would be, we talked about this earlier, which area of expertise are you going to use? And don't try to do more than one product. So yes, on if you look at my Facebook, I talk about the Money Mapping Mastermind cohort. That's something I have coming up. And that's something that just flows through me. It's basically mapping out your money goals, how much you want to make, along with action steps and a plan. So that is what I talk about on Facebook, but that content comes from flow. It's literally what's flowing through me, but what I'm intention. So I don't want to lose the following I already have on Facebook. So I'm still posting on Facebook, still engaging, because it's something that I naturally do. But when it comes to the actual product that I'm focused on, I'm using LinkedIn, because that's where the corporations are at. That's where the deans, the directors, the people who have the decision makers who can actually pay for me to come in and offer workforce development training. So think about, what service are you going to provide for over 1,000? The coaching, the contract, the consulting. Which area of expertise you're going to use. And when I say your expertise, I mean, take all your stuff. Your good stuff, your bad stuff, your indifferent stuff. Your expertise is your life experience, your work experience, your volunteer experience. All of that is who you are. Because as you know, we live in a world where people are naturally nosy and they want to know about you. So if they don't know who you are, they don't know what you stand for, no matter if it's how controversial or not. If they don't know who you are, then they can't trust you to turn around and buy from you. So we talked about that earlier, but I want to reiterate that. So that's how you're going to determine which service or product you're going to sell, based on what you can teach for a whole 24 hours. The next thing is, which one did you choose? And then how many do you need to sell to reach your money goals? We talked about that. And then what is your marketing strategy? So that goes back to what I was saying earlier. When it comes to my money mapping and tech stuff, I still talk about that on Facebook, because I don't want to lose the traction that I've already made. Because one day I might actually focus on that. But for these next 6 months, that's not the priority, but I don't want to lose the people I have on Facebook already. But the intentional content, the intentional post is on LinkedIn, and the intentional connections is on LinkedIn. I send everyone a personal message. Not saying everyone, the people I'm targeting. I'm targeting deans. I'm targeting program directors. I'm targeting field instructors. And now I'm even exploring working with some professors and different things, because those are the people who I need to build genuine relationships with. Remember, know, like, trust, who could eventually be able to invest in my program. So be intentional. Like I've seen people post cold pitching your potential clients, your ideal market. Yes, it's somewhat of cold, but it becomes a little warm when there's when there's a little connection. So I'll give you an example. I went to it, exactly. Thank you, Mel. Lukewarm. Because when I think of cold, it's like, they ain't never heard of you. Versus for these people, they've heard of me in some way. So like I went to a National Association of Social Workers conference the other day. And those people that was there, I connected with them on LinkedIn. Hey, it's Lequita. It was so nice to meet you at the conference. So it's also going to help me remember, right, where I even met them at and what they even talked about. So the personal invite is not just for them. It's for me. Because I'm connected with a lot of people. Because remember, I have to connect with 57 schools to make 11 sales. And then at those schools, I don't want to just focus on one person. I might have like 3 people at each school. So that's a lot of connecting and a lot of communicating. And I'm just not going to remember all of that. So personalize those messages. So then it's lukewarm. It won't just be completely cold. Or even I did a post in a in a LinkedIn group, and it got a lot of engagement. And I literally went through everyone and looked at their titles. For people who liked the post, looked at their titles. If they had one of those titles, professor, dean, program, field education, I sent them a connection request. Hey, thank you for engaging with my post. People who commented, I did the same exact thing. So you need to have 3 lead generations. 3. One, for me, is going to be social media and LinkedIn and doing Facebook. That's still social media. That's only 1 lead generation, because you can't get sales if you don't have leads. Number 2 is speaking. So I once again posted in LinkedIn groups and said, hey, it was twofold. It was one, to find out what my people want. Because if I'm targeting social workers, why don't I create content for them? Like in the past, I used to just be creating all kinds of content, programs, recording videos, and never asked anybody what they wanted. So I'm putting out all this good stuff. At least I'm thinking it's good, right? I'm thinking it's good because I'm like, this is what y'all need. This is what you need to make your lives better. And didn't make no sales. So guess what I did on LinkedIn? I said, hey, I'm thinking about doing a presentation at some meetings and some alumni groups for social workers. What topic do you like best, right? Ask them the 3 different titles. And I think, oh my God, those posts got like 17,000 views and another one. But I had like almost 1,500 people total between the different platforms actually complete the survey. And they told me the titles. And guess what, y'all? They even gave me alternate names that was better than my name. And now they get to know a little bit about Lequita. And now I can connect to have that lukewarm, like Mel said, connection with them. So it's not just cold. They already kind of know, okay, and then naturally what they're going to do, people knows it, they're going to click on my LinkedIn to see what I'm about. And on my LinkedIn, I don't talk about helping social workers make money. No, I talk about workforce development training and the social work incubator. That is the $1 billion vision that I don't talk a lot about because I need to try to focus on what needs to be done now. But that's the big vision, the $1 billion vision, the social work incubator. So I said speaking, I said social media, and then my third one is actually email marketing. I'm not really a big fan of email marketing, but I did actually send out an email the other day. So those are my 3. But you can decide what will be your ways of lead generation. You could do podcasts as part of speaking. You might could do a newsletter. That's some time intensive for me, but you have to think about what do you need to do to get leads. And just having a website is not good enough because you need to lead them to something. So even if you're not collecting their email addresses up front, like I don't necessarily collect a lot of email addresses. I prefer conversations in the PM because I want to be able to quickly go back and see, oh, this is what I talked about with them. We can have links in Facebook. Now, I still use Facebook. Facebook I love because you can do the voice memos. LinkedIn, you actually have to type, so I don't necessarily like that, but still, I love having PM conversations because then we're warming up to each other in the PM before we even have any other discussion. So think about what are going to be your ways to generate leads. And if there's any questions, Wanda, in the chat, let me know. Since I'm working from my cell phone now, so we can have some good service. All right, so we talked about your marketing strategy. All right, so now your action plan, the steps required to achieve your goals. And if anyone wants to decide they want to ask questions or say, hey, what would be some action steps for me? Let me know. So that's what's next, action planning. So let's try to bring it all together because I've said a whole lot. All right. Big vision, vacation lifestyle, live, work, play, philanthropy, anywhere in the world by fall 2023. These next 6 months as a business owner, I focused in on one product. I've rocked at being a social worker. I've had an amazing life as a social worker. And it really bothers me when I see all of these social work students who are complaining about not having a niche, not knowing what they want to do, being so confused, and not understanding that their number one priority when they graduate is to get a job earning a livable wage. Bump your passion, bump your purpose, bump all that, but the schools don't tell them that. No, I need you to calculate your bills and figure out how much money you need to make, and then you only select social work jobs that's going to pay you that amount of money. So because of me being clearly, I get borderline angry and I'll say passionate about this topic, this is what I desire to do the rest of my life. Like I can do this every single day, all day, chatting with students in the PM, in Facebook groups, in community, doing training, because they're my hearts, because I know what it's like to be that student in undergrad, pre having a child and not knowing what I wanted to do with my life. Went to UCF, I just wanted to go off to college. That was it. I was going to go off to college. I didn't even know I was supposed to declare major. Like I didn't even know that. Like that was something I didn't know. Because when I was younger, I didn't know what I didn't know. That's why my heart goes out to these students, because they don't know what they don't know, and school doesn't teach you about real life. So because of that, that is the one service I've opted to provide. And social work students can't invest in me. They can't afford me. So I'm working with colleges in order for them to be able to pay me to come in, because it helps them with recruitment and retention, and it helps their students and their overall well-being. So doing workforce development training, that's the one service. Using the expertise that I have, I've mastered social work, like next level mastery. Like I have an amazing life because of it. So it hurts my heart even when I hear about the people trying to transition because they don't like social work. But it's not because they don't like social work, it's because they didn't figure out how to effectively leverage and monetize their expertise. That's their real issue. It's not that social work is bad. Like I've talked to social workers and they'll say, oh, Lequita, I've been working in nursing homes for 13 years doing inspections. What? And you don't think you an expert? What? Do you know how much money ALFs and long-term care facilities would pay you to come in and help them to pass their inspections? Because they need to pass inspections in order to make money, to keep the doors open, to get clients. And you don't see how you can use that talent, that skill that you have to make good money from doing it. So it hurts my heart. But unfortunately for those social workers, sorry they feel that way. But in this season, I have to focus on the students. But either way, I just have a love for social work, period. So that's how I picked my particular topic. From that, I said, okay, if my debt-free number, which really I think my debt is like $257,000, including my mortgage, student loans, all that stuff. But I added some padding in there just in case to pay for taxes and other things. So that's why I added the 300. So I created 330,000 as my number. So what is your financial number? From that, it's like, okay, you can't just have a financial number, Lequita. You have to know how you're going to make the 330,000. You're going to make it from selling a $30,000 program to 11 schools. In order for you to be able to sell 11 products, you have to have at least 57 schools that you're nurturing relationships with, that you're generating that you're building relationships and finding out their different pools of money. Is there money allocated for orientation or new student meetings? Do they have money allocated for workforce development? And nurturing those relationships, connecting with them via LinkedIn. And like I said, for individuals that have paid for my services, it was through Facebook. But now since I'm focused on corporations, I'm using LinkedIn. So you have to decide which way you're going to market to get leads for know, like, trust, buy. And then the next thing is putting it all together. Action plan. How often am I going to reach out? How am I going to manage still doing my grant with the Department of Veterans Affairs? Because I still have to get clients for veterans, my veteran clients, and I still have to see them. So how am I going to use my time? And I did the math. With having 57 schools I'm targeting, I can literally invest just one day, a few hours in each school for the next 3 months. So one school a day, 5 days a week, for 3 months will allow me to hit and nurture relationships with every single school over these next 3 months. And then turn around and repeat it again the second half of the year for the next 3 months after that. So from, I guess, September, October, November. Well, no, I'm at, shoot, we're in July. I'm tripping, y'all. I'm all over the place. July, August, September, and then October, November, December, reaching out, building those connections. That's what the action steps look like. What email am I going to send? What content am I going to create on Facebook? Scheduling time to actually identify the different NASW groups, identify the social work groups, identify the contact, sending them the emails, the phone calls, and actually putting that in a structure. So the speaking piece and the email piece, those I haven't organized into a particular system yet, but at least I have the LinkedIn component that's organized when it comes to focusing on one school each day. So make it manageable. Don't try, I can't sit and lie to myself and say, I'm going to follow up with all 57 schools in one day. That's not realistic because I still have life. I still have to be a present parent. I still got things I need to do, and I need to sleep. So realistically, I can only do one school per day. And then the execution plan is basically putting it all together and writing it down in a succinct way. So then you can read it, you understand it, and it becomes real to you. So it's not just something that's in your head. Like, no, it needs to be in your hands. So let me know if anyone has any questions. I know I've talked about a whole lot of stuff. If anything was confusing to you, anything you want me to unpack or explain some more, let me know. We have about, I guess, 14 minutes left. So let me know. You can unmute yourselves. Whatever works for you.
Also, ladies, I have put her money mapping mastermind cohort in the comments. getpaidforyourexpertise.com. So I was just taking some notes on everything you've been talking about, all these gems you've been dropping. So your process is to know your numbers, know what your lifestyle costs, and then you go into who do you need to be and what do you need to do to achieve these goals that you want to set for yourself. And then it's how are you going to make that money? So you're like breaking down exactly what you're going to do to create the income that you want, that you need for this lifestyle that you want. And then you talk about how to make that money. And you're saying higher ticket items of around $1,000 is going to get you to your goal faster. And then you break it even down further, like, okay, well, to make, so you mentioned a 6-figure specifically, to make that, if you're looking at a 30% close rate, then that's why you were specifically saying how many schools you had to pitch in order to close 11, specifically 57 schools to close 11, to sell 11 on your program. And then the marketing strategy and using the 3 specific lead generations in order to get to those 57 schools in the first place, right? Well, it's a little different because you're saying you're using LinkedIn for one and Facebook for the other, which is intentional as well. So like that's the overarching, that's the map. That's the roadmap to getting you to what it is that you want. Where are the challenges in that? How are you overcoming those challenges?
I think far as the challenges, I think for me is not getting distracted with doing the fun stuff. Like I genuinely love research. Like I have at least 15 articles about my topic. And it's like, look here, you don't need to do no more research because you got tons of research. Because my topic is 8 steps to live a more fulfilling life as a social worker based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Even if you don't know where to start. So one thing could be just not getting distracted. Another thing I love, what if we know the expertise but can't figure out the product or service? Okay. Another thing, and I'll get to that question. Another thing, I think for me, that's the biggest thing. And then since my time is so fluid, like I'm a full-time business owner. So my time is my time. So yes, I have a VA grant and I have a partner with a nonprofit, but there's nobody picking up the phone and saying, Lequita, you did your work. Nobody to clock into. So like yesterday, once I got back from Cabo at like 1:50 in the morning, I went by McDonald's at like 2:30. My daughter has a pet rabbit. She's been gone on vacation too. So I literally went to McDonald's to go buy the rabbit some lettuce from McDonald's and buy me some food. So needless to say, all day yesterday, that was stuff I needed to get done, but I slept. I was tired. And then today, I'm still trying to get back accustomed to, my regular life. So I even missed my walk time at 5:45. And I think I really got up and started at like 9 and cooked chicken. So I said all that to say being disciplined with my time. So regardless of how much time I decide to work, I need to make sure if I don't do nothing else every single day, 5 days a week, in order for me to hit this 330, I need to reach out to that one school. And reaching out to that one school isn't just, let me just contact this school. No, it's literally those people that's on my list that work at that school, checking out their LinkedIn, seeing if they've created any posts, seeing if I need to send them an email, whatever reach outs I need to do. So that's what that's going to look like for me to make sure I stay on task. That one school doing everything I need to do. Since time is just, it's tough when you work for yourself. So it's like everybody who has a 9 to 5, like, oh my God, I can't wait to work for myself. Yeah, that's cool and all. But if you're not disciplined with your time, and luckily I have steady income because of my grant, because unless that, I probably would have had to get way more structured way before now. But luckily I get paid regardless. But now since my pay is based on my numbers and my sales, I got a different mindset. So that's what I would say. Those are the barriers, and just being intentional and making it manageable. And I'm just going to go back and read the exact question. It says, what if we know the expertise but can't figure out the product or service? Mm-hmm. So what I would say is I like step-by-step type things. So I think about, so this is how I would do it. I'm just freestyling this for you. So when I first started out, I thought about doing a program for single moms, right? So I literally, but let's just put the caveat out there. Single moms, if they're a single mom like me, they could pay $5,000. If they're the single mom I was in 2008, she couldn't pay $5,000. So when I first started, I wanted to help single moms that was like me in 2008. So I was creating a product, but it was incongruent because they couldn't pay it. But either way, what I did was I mapped out, I'm looking at myself instead of looking at you. I mapped out what that would look like. So when you think, so first decide what would be that one thing you want to sell. So say, for example, I decided I want to sell on single moms because we're start with making a list. Let me make this practical for you. Make a list of everything, all of your to and froms, or your from to to. I said that backwards, excuse me. So I would literally make a list of, okay, Lequita, what have you done and what can you teach for 24 hours? And what process did you use to figure out what you, okay, This is what I'm saying right now, Latanya. So I'm breaking that down. So I thought about me and the things that I can naturally talk to you all about fluidly. Make a list of all of your from to to. So my challenge was file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. What was the outcome that I overcame? I know how to teach people how to rebuild their credit because I've went from Chapter 7 bankruptcy to rebuilding my credit. Then another one is I went from foreclosure to buying another house and all the steps in between. So when you're writing your from to your to, before you do that, you make a list of what all your from and tos are, all of them. I went from social assistance to six-figure business owner. I went from car repossession to buying another car. I went from being a single mom that was on social assistance to now being a single mom who bought my daughter a cash card for $7,000, or we take trips to Dominican Republic and I invest in $30,000 coaching programs. So make your list of all of the challenge to the outcome. Thank you, Wanda, for using those terms for me. And then literally write out every single step. So you make your list of everything that you want to do, right? And then from that, so first, make the list. Step 2 is figure out which one of those, your challenge to outcome list, which one do you think you're going to be able to sell for $1,000 at least? And it doesn't have to be $1,000. It could be $1,500. It could be $2,000. Shoot, if you big and bad and bold enough, you could sell it for $100,000. Like I have a coach that sells products for $100,000. I'm not at that point. But hey, you can make your number whatever you want your number to be, but make sure you're practicing in integrity. It means that you've already paid whatever you're asking somebody else to pay. So you'll never make money if you don't ask. Exactly. You won't make money if you don't ask, and you might not make money either if you've never invested in you. So if you know that you've only invested $359 in yourself, then you might want to start out just selling a product for $359. I know I've invested $30,000 this year, and it has been no joke. That's all I gotta say. So it really made me get my life right. But because of that, if I ask somebody else to pay it, I don't flinch. So make a list of all of your challenge to outcomes, then decide which one are you going to pick, the one that's going to make you the most money. And I do have a podcast episode about this, so I can also share that link. And I don't know if I say something different in that podcast as I record them and then I move on. But pick the one that you know that you're going to be able to sell for the most amount of money. And decide, is it going to be coaching? Is it going to be consulting? Is it going to be contracting? Are you going to try to get attract your ideal clients? Because my ideal clients that paid for my money mapping were individuals who were the 2015 to 2018 Lequita. They worked 9-to-5 jobs. They made good money. They were single moms. They were, in their careers, and they were trying to figure out how to map things out. So pick that one particular challenge to outcome that's going to allow you to make the most money. Decide on what that amount would be, and then literally write down every single step. So like when I wrote down the steps for my workforce development program, how to map out your social work career, I literally wrote down all 8 steps, literally, on everything I did, because remember, this is who I am. This is my life. So I started with, why did you go into social work? Which is cool to know, but really the second thing I asked is, how much money do you need to make to pay your bills? Because that's how I determined what was going to be the best career path. So I literally wrote down every single thing I did in order to go from being the person that filed for bankruptcy, went back to school full time to be a social worker, in order to get to this point of having an amazing social work career and making 6 figures. So you literally write it out. And then from that, you decide who's going to be your audience. And I'm going to say your audience is the person the old version of you. So hopefully, I think that answered your question. And I see some more in the chat. I'm attempting to scan, so that's why I'm looking crazy right now, y'all. What if we know the expertise, we can't figure out the product? So that's how to figure out the product. What you rock at, which one is going to pay you the most, what you're going to charge for it. And when I say, which one you rock at is the from to your to. Okay, being responsible for our own time. All right. What else? What is hard to decide which area of your knowledge to market. And I think that still kind of answered it. The thing that you know the best, the thing that you can do with your eyes closed, the thing that you've already conquered. So really, I guess the biggest thing is to just sit down, and even if you don't know your from to your to, write down everything you've accomplished. Just write that down, even if you don't know the from to the to. And then once you write down everything you've accomplished, then you can reverse engineer and say, well, what did that look like before I actually accomplished this? Like, where was I actually at in that journey? How do you choose which areas to focus on when your professional expertise don't necessarily line up, but what you want to do both? I don't know how much more time we have. I know this is 1 hour, but if you want to give me an example, or if you want to go ahead.
You have about 5 minutes.
Okay. So I don't know if you want to put it in the chat or unmute real quick, or if it's okay, Wanda, for this discussion to be finished inside of your Facebook group. That could be an option too. I don't know.
It just stopped streaming to Facebook. Like, we could stay in this room.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right.
She's on Facebook or YouTube. I'm sorry, streaming to YouTube.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know. All right.
She's saying her personal passions and her professional expertise don't necessarily align, but she wants to do both.
And I believe, this is just my own thoughts, that they can be combined. So I don't know if you want to go live right now and unmute and tell me what is it that you actually want to do? What does that vacation lifestyle look like for you? And then from that, we could talk about how to bring it all together, because I believe it's possible. I think everything works. I think everything works together. So if you want to unmute, that'll be great. So I can get some more context for this. And let's see, what else do we have? What process did you use to figure out what you could teach 24 hours? I think I kind of talked about that. And okay, the rest is Wanda, looks like it. Okay. So did someone unmute or come on video?
No, she's on YouTube. Oh, go ahead.
Basically, of course, I am a single mother. Hey, Lequita. My thing is basically showing up for, because let me go back a bit. About 4 or 5 years ago, I started within the budget travel realm, letting them know how, single parents can get this on the deal, that on the deal. But my taste has changed for the past 2 years, during the pandemic. And basically seeing that budget travel really isn't my thing anymore, right? So I did have a group trip for last year, which it was a luxury travel group, thing last year. But the thing is, convincing single parents that you don't have to cheat yourself in order to treat yourself, which what I'm trying to explain to them, that single parents don't have to basically nitpick on everything in order to get the full experience that they want. So how did the process go for you dealing with the change of going into from lower tier ticket to high ticket pricing?
For me, I started out in the therapy world, which to me is like low ticket, plus I don't really care for therapy. Like, therapy is nice for people who enjoy it, but I realized I prefer coaching because coaching is more futuristic. So from, I guess, the time that I've started doing coaching, at first it was low ticket, but I didn't know how to sell because I didn't understand my messaging, and I was selling people stuff that they didn't want. But then when I actually officially started coaching, I sold my first product for $1,500 because of who I am and how I show up and how I live. So my clients are literally the version of me from the 2000 I would say maybe like 2017, 2018, Lequita. They were moms who were single. One mom actually makes 6 figures working for a school system. The other one also makes really great money working for a school system. They already understand travel. They already understood wanting to be present for their kids. The piece they didn't understand was, how can I take all of my greatness and then make money from it? So your audience that you're talking to are people who already get it. You're not in the position of, because when you have to convince people and they don't understand it, those aren't your people. That's kind of like me joining the Travl group. Matter of fact, investing in Wanda's mastermind, to be exact. I don't have time to explain to people why I'm going to leave the country and live wherever I want to live for 3 months at a time. I don't have time for that. So I joined a group of people who already believe in doing it. So when it comes to your particular service or product, go hang out where those people are at. So who are you? Like me, I'm a social worker. So